So here is my barbecue. If we look inside, it's actually in very good shape all around. Everything here works, it's clean. But the baffles here seem to be disintegrating. The burners themselves underneath are also in very good shape. I'll take a look at one here. You can see the burners are in good shape. But these baffles, on the other hand, okay, they need replacing. I could go to Amazon and buy these, but I thought I'd fabricate something just to give this some support. So I found this sheet metal. It's galvanized steel. And I made I supported the baffles, all three of them. And I turned it on, give it a try, see how it works. And as I did that, it seems to form this white ash right here, as you can see this on this outside. So I'm thinking the zinc, because a galvanized steel is just a zinc on the top of steel, so it's zinc coated. I believe the zinc is oxidizing with the air, forming zinc oxide, giving me this zinc oxide ash right here, this whitish residue. Well, I'm not going to use that, so I have to come up with something else. I'm going to try and use just plain regular steel in order to give this support. I think the idea is sound. I just have to use just plain steel, not galvanized, not painted, not coated of any kind, just plain steel. I went in search of steel, just plain regular steel, ungalvanized. Went to Canadian Tire and they have some, but it seems to have some kind of a bluish coat on it, made in China. And I don't know what kind of coating it is, so I ignored that one. Then I went to Princess Auto, and they have what I'm looking for, really thin sheet metal, galvanized. I did find one sheet, which was ungalvanized, just plain regular steel. While I was looking at it, another shopper there at Princess Auto looks at me and he asked me, am I looking for sheet metal? Yes, I was looking for sheet metal. And he said to me, you know, if you go down the road here on Parkdale in Brampton, there is a business there that will sell you offcuts. They work in metal and tubing and bars and angle irons, and they can probably sell you some offcuts at a very cheap price. Okay, closer look. So I took the gentleman's offer and I went down, it's a Brampton Street, a corner of near Brampton and Parkdale. Went to the business. And sure enough, yeah, there they were. I talked to some people inside, and I got some offcuts, a regular sheet of steel. Here it is. For a whole whopping $12, I can get this. Obviously, I could make a lot of these baffles that I need to make with just this sheet of steel. So, thank you to that gentleman who gave me that advice. Now I have something here that I can work with. I'm in my workshop, my garage, where I do all my work, and I'm preparing to cut some of these. It says the baffles for the barbecue. You may recall in past videos, I said I'm going to have to get or ask my wife to cut this into short sleeves so it doesn't get caught here with the blades of the table saw. Well, here we go. We're short sleeves now. We're well into summer. This is June 6th right now as I'm making this particular recording. And as you know, I need to make these baffles. Replace it in my barbecue. I could have bought them like I mentioned previously. And I have this zinc coated underneath. But I did get some sheets. A sheet metal. Here it is. And see if I can convert this into 3 of these baffles. Now, first thing I need to do is to make a measurement. Luckily, I have the piece. And when you're measuring something that you already have, it has a special name. It's called reverse engineering. It's just another way of saying I'm copying somebody else's design. So I'm going to reverse engineer this piece, not all of it, just the portion that I want to use. And I'm going to have to take some measurements. Let's see. I could use a vernier caliper, but for this particular piece, I'm going to go with, well, simple measuring tape. I'm going to measure the length of this, okay, and the width and the basic angle that it is at. Since I already have this, it's just a matter of doing some reverse engineering. And of course, I could use that, put all these the measurements into a CAD design, but I am going to take, well, the old-fashioned route right here, and just simply write things down, make a little sketch, which I already have, and then we'll get to cutting this piece of sheet metal and see how I make out with making one of these baffles. So I've taken the one baffle and I made some measurements, wrote them down here. It's the length that I'm interested in right now. And the length that I'm going to use, well, it won't be completed to the very end. I'm going to use this little bit here. It has sort of a shape to it. You can see it in order to hook into the barbecue. I'm not going to be able to make that shape with the tools I have, so I'm going to keep that. And just work from there forward. It looks like 15.5 inches. I need to make 3 of them. So I have 15.5 inches times 3 of them. That's 15.5 times 15.5. And 30, 45, 46.5 inches. So I need a sum total of 46.5 inches. I'll leave a little bit extra for the cuts. Let's see how long this sheet of metal is. When I went to buy this, I didn't have any measurements at all. I just sort of stopped by and took a chance. So I needed 46.5, I said. Say 47 to be on the safe side, and this is 49 inches. Perfect. Just perfect. And I'll do the same for the width. And the width comes to, I've already done these measurements, 5.5 inches. Obviously this is more than 5.5 inches wide. What I need to do now is measure 5.5 inches, mark it all the way along, and cut a strip here that's 5.5 inches long. That whole length, then I'll just cut the 3 sections. When they're individually cut, I will make something like this. So follow along and see how I do. So I took out my Workmate 300 and I set up the sheet metal here outside along with my angle grinder. It's going to create a lot of sparks. There's my line that I need to cut. This will take at least 30 minutes to do this cut, so I'll do it all off camera. Before doing any of the metal cuts, we got to think safety. Here's a mask, a face shield. Just take my glasses off and use the face shield instead. And it is noisy. Been about 20 minutes. And there we go, all cut. Gonna need a new blade here, it's getting a little small. Now I just have to slice these to the proper lengths. Just make a measurement and I'll cut 3 pieces from this. Again, I will do all of that off camera. I have reset. There's the sheet, the whole length of it. Now I need to cut 15.5 inches to this line. That'll be my first piece, and then a second and a third. Just a matter of cut and repeat. I finished cutting the 3 pieces. Here they are. 1, well, 2 and 3. Looking at it, and remember I'm doing some reverse engineering. This is the shape that I want. You'll notice that there are these slots. Don't know why they're there. I can't actually do the slots, but I could. put some holes in here to mimic these slots. So if I put in, say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 holes on one side and 7 on the other side, and then do the bend. So it's easier for me to put holes on this while this sheet is flat to try and mimic this. I thought about it and decided not to drill the holes for these. Thought I'd leave it solid for the time being. I had other barbecues and it was just basically a solid sheet like that. Act as a baffle, put the burners underneath and just disperse the heat throughout this baffle. So I thought I'd leave it like this. I could always drill the holes in order to match this at a future date. But here they are. I finished the bends. You can see I got these. Well, they're rather fragile, so I'll just leave them alone. This is what it looks like. And here is the original. Just going to place that on top. What I need to do now is bolt it here and bolt it there. There is a slight angle I have to cut here in order to fit the barbecue. 30-degree angle or so off here at that, where is it? Up right off of here. And I can do that after I have all of this bolted. Almost there. Here it is, the finished product. As you can see, I kept the original baffles. And the reason I kept these is because of the connection right here. I thought this cutout is just a little too complicated for me to do with the tools that I have. Maybe one day in the future, if this ever breaks down again, I'll attempt this. But right now, I chose to keep this portion because they're all in good shape. Only the rest of this here seems to have rotten away. So I have the new baffles underneath, the old ones on top. And I've given this barbecue a new life. The burners are on. All the cutting oil is being burned off. This is water that I'm spraying on it. It will cut into the oil and everything evaporate quicker. The burners are doing rather well. You can't see them from here. I think I got a few more years left on this barbecue. Oh, here's the grates, by the way.